There is no place for you in Virginia, and there is no place for you in the United States of America.
That is Governor Terry McAuliffe yesterday at one of the church services here in Charlottesville. Sun is actually up this morning. It's a tough Monday. But sun's up, 7:41. It's 64. We're going up to about 83 or 84 later this afternoon. One of the men sitting next to the governor and at those church services here in Charlottesville yesterday, Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Rick. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, man, it's a tough Monday here in Charlottesville. I tell you what.
Well, Rick, it's been a horrific few days, and just to have such a peaceful, wonderful city as Charlottesville and have folks come in that just white supremacists and bringing hatred and bigotry. It's just not what Charlottesville is about. It's not what Virginia's about. I was, pleased to be with the governor and his staff, and we came, to Charlottesville and yesterday started the healing process. But, I think we should really take time out to offer our condolences to these individuals like Heather and our two troopers that lost their lives, and also commend our law enforcement, our first responders, the people of Charlottesville that stood up against this hatred and bigotry. And also yesterday, Rick, we had the opportunity to go by University of Virginia Healthcare Center and thank the medical staff. And, we can't forget folks like that stayed up through the night and really saved lives of people. So a lot of people came together. It was a tough couple of days, but Charlottesville and Virginia is stronger because of it. And we have sent these folks the message that this is not what Virginia's about. And we told them to go home and don't come back because we don't need them here in Virginia.
We're talking to Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam. Now, we've been, I'm sure you've been up to date and following this and involved on the state level as Lieutenant Governor here leading up to this. But, we've had quite the little debate here over the last week or two about the balance of free speech, even if it's not popular speech, and the violence. There's no room for that. Everybody understands that now. I think at least all the reasonable people do on whatever side you're on. Is there any way to stop this from happening again?
Well, I think that, law enforcement in Charlottesville, our mayor, they did a great job. They, if you think about this, the amount of people and the amount of hatred that they brought into Charlottesville, not a shot was fired, and they should be commended for that. And, I agree with you. We do need to support the First Amendment. That is very important, but we have to draw a line between speech and violence. And, these individuals, Rick, rolled into Charlottesville with torches, with sticks, with shields, with helmets, with semi-automatic machine guns. That's out of bounds for peaceful protest. And again, I think our law enforcement folks did a commendable job. This tragic episode where this individual literally weaponized his vehicle and drove down a crowded street, those things are hard to prevent. And we lost a life, as we mentioned earlier. I'm just fortunate, glad that no more lives were lost, because what a dangerous scenario. And this was a terrorist attack, domestic terrorist, and let's call it what it is. Let's call these white supremacists for what they are, for the hatred and bigotry. It's about racism, and we don't need it in Virginia. And we will do everything we can to make sure that these people are not welcome. And as the governor and I told them very clearly yesterday, go home and don't come back.
We're talking to Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam. So, Mr. Northam, we've talked before, and enough now where I think we're getting to know each other a little bit. I don't want to make this political by any means whatsoever. And I know you are running for election in the gubernatorial race this November. And again, I'm trying to make this not political, but actually figure out how to frame the question I want to ask. And that question is, so your opponent, Ed Gillespie, barely beat Corey Stewart, and Corey Stewart had the support and hooked his horse to these kinds of groups. Does that mean we have a huge contingent of people of these kinds of beliefs in our state? Do you know what I mean?
Well, obviously there's some. Well, Rick, there's some out there, and But I would just, ask everybody to take a look at what happened this weekend. And it starts with leadership, and it starts with the top. And I really regret that our president hasn't made a stronger statement to talk about what this hatred and bigotry, what white supremacy, when these individuals come in, they divide people, Rick, and we can't have that. And I would tell Corey Stewart and Ed Gillespie and all of them that if they condone that kind of behavior, it is wrong. And that's not what Virginia is about, and it's certainly not what I stand for, not what our governor stands for, our attorney general. And again, we were, I wish we didn't have to come to Charlottesville the last couple of days, but we came there to make it clear to Charlottesville and to Virginia, the University of Virginia, that this has no place in Virginia. We've developed a new Virginia economy. We're bringing businesses into Virginia, helping businesses grow, and we have to be inclusive, Rick, and we live in a diverse society. And again, this type of hatred and bigotry has no place, and everybody, whether it be the president or the school board, all leaders, all elected officials need to stand up and say, enough is enough. This is not in our best interest, and we don't need it here in Virginia.
We're talking to Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam. Before I let you go, sir, so moving forward, I mean, this week and the coming weeks, what is there anything that's going to happen on the state level as a result of this horrible weekend here in Charlottesville?
Well, I think what should happen, Rick, is obviously, yes, there are a lot of things, but it's a time for reconciliation. And the governor, the attorney general, and I want to lead that. We want to start restoring relationships and work together. As you know, there's national news, world news. We have a lot of challenges, not only in Virginia, but in this country and in this world. And this is a time for Americans, for Virginians to come together and to say, we've got some uphill battles out there. Let's work together. But when we have instances like what we saw the last couple of days, that is really not in the best interest of anybody. And so, again, we don't condone it, we don't welcome it, and we just assume they not come back to Virginia.
Mr. Northam, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us this morning.
Thank you, Rick. You all have a great day.
Take care, man.